Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early in the morning while it was still dark, and saw the stone removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved and told them, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb, and we do not know where they put him." Mary stayed outside the tomb weeping. And as she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white sitting there, one at the head, one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said to them, "They have taken my Lord. I don't know where they laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus there, but did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" And she thought it was the gardener, and said to him, "Sir, if you carried him away, tell me where you laid him, and I will take him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Stop holding on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them, I am going to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord," and then reported what he told her. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This is such a powerful moment, both in the history of the church, but also in the life of Mary and the disciples. You can imagine having literally everything taken away from you, because that was the position the disciples were in and Mary Magdalene was in. And she was literally at the tomb in utter grief, just uncontrollable, unconsolable grief, if you will. And the whole dynamic of Mary first meeting the angels, imagine that. Mary, who had potentially 7 demons in her, Jesus healing her, and that union that was formed in that moment with Jesus drove her to the tomb, literally drove her to the tomb. And she knew she couldn't live without him. That becomes really our first question. Can we live without Jesus, risen from the dead? And so the discussion that takes place between the risen Lord Jesus and Mary is really a moment of revelation for her, to recognize that it's not about death. It's about the resurrection. And she really wasn't looking for Jesus risen. She was looking for Jesus dead. And then when Jesus risen revealed himself to her, really everything changed for her. It was as if she was back at that moment when Jesus expelled all those demons from her. So the demon of grief, the demon of great sadness was gone. And his love surrounded her, embraced her, as he called her name. He does the same for us. He calls us by name and calls us into that love relationship which says to us there's more to life than death. There is the resurrection. And so we, as a community of faith, approaching the altar to receive his body and blood, are touched and receive the same Jesus that spoke to Mary. And he calls our name and becomes one with our body and our blood as we become one with him in Holy Communion.